So let's go ahead and get started. I would love to have you gals take an easy seat, and by like easy being the keyword. So if it's hard to sit up, and I'll just show you, I'm going to back up and grab my blanket. Um, what I like to do is to just take a blanket or even like your pillows and sit up on to the edge of that. What that does is it just helps to get the hips up a little bit. For me, especially if you're a runner or a hiker or a biker, oftentimes the front of the hip flexors can be really talkative if you're trying to just even sit cross-legged. So getting the hips up a little bit is really helpful for just relaxing through the front of the hip flexors. You don't need it. You can also sit kneeling. But I just want you to find a posture where you can feel grounded. So the sit bones on the earth, or maybe the sit bones down onto the heels if you're kneeling. And then just take some adjustments to feel length through the spine. So what I don't want here is for you to overexert and to get super strong into your midline. I just want you to maybe even just kind of roll the shoulders out and soften through the belly and take a couple deep exhales and just feel ease stacking up and down through your vertebrae. So whatever shape that looks like, where you can get that grounding semblance and also that easy stacking through the vertebrae. And you'll notice that it's easy stacking if you can breathe. So if you notice that your breath is getting a little bit caught, just give yourself a little shake, maybe even a head roll, and just see if you can start again. And if the eyes aren't already closed, go ahead if it's comfortable for you, and you can just close your eyes. Otherwise, just soften the gaze. And we'll go ahead and get started. And as we're starting, I think some of you have been in these practices with me this last week and some of you haven't. But I just like, at least for the foreseeable future, just to acknowledge this kind of here we are aspect of coming into a home practice. My hope for creating this space is that we just have this opportunity to get together virtually, but with the acknowledgement that every time we're showing up into these virtual practices, what we might be needing is going to be different time to time, and also different among each of us that are joining in. For some of us, it might be strength. For others of us, it might be this need to release. For some of us, it might be getting the giggles, which is one of my favorite things during yoga. So just, know that you're muted, know that your videos are all turned off, and this is your practice in your home. And what a beautiful metaphor that is, right? To take this opportunity to start a home practice as a reminder to come home to yourself. So my hope in the next hour is that your breath and your movement and this practice are a reminder of that truth of being home with yourself right now. So with the eyes closed, let's just go ahead and start bringing awareness to the breath. It's just a really lovely way to begin each practice. I'm going to start up close here to the computer with you guys so you can hear me pretty clearly. And before we start to ask the breath to change shape or cadence in any way, I just want you to take a few moments to notice the natural inhale and exhale in your body as you're arriving onto the mat tonight. So you can just come into that stillness and quiet within yourself. And as you're doing so, you're giving yourself permission here not to expect any sort of like profound aha moment, although if that happens for you, that's fantastic. But really, I want you just to look for the subtleties, look for the clues, things like your texture in your breath, things like the depth of your breath, temperature. You might notice a particular origin point of your breath or a pathway. And you might notice a particular purpose in your breath. Perhaps it's breathing through something in the body. Perhaps it's breathing around something. Perhaps it's flowing with something, right? These are all tiny little qualities, ways that we can be curious and play the scientist as we come into our practices. not just because it's fun and interesting to learn about our breath, but because it's helping us to know what we're bringing onto the mat tonight. Just staying with that inquiry for another moment or so. And then I just want you to tune into, for a brief moment, any areas in the body, any areas in the breath that might feel uncomfortable. We're just going to go there real quick at the beginning just to acknowledge, just to pull the any of the dragons, be they little tiny dragons or big ones, out of the closet. Just noticing if there's any areas of physical discomfort, any areas of discomfort within the breath. And again, you're not noticing them and judging them or getting hung up in their story. You're just noticing. Right, and then maybe even moving a little bit on in the inquiry here, just to notice in the emotional body if there's any areas of discomfort currently with you on the mat as you're coming into practice tonight. Anything that feels heavy or uncomfortable. Okay. Whatever is heavy on you, just see if you can start to take it off. Just for this one sweet moment, just carve out a place in your heart for peace, for love. See if you can just breathe. And you can stay here, and this is the point at which, if you have that pen and paper, if you want to use this, I really like to journal in my practices when I'm at home, so that you guys are getting dragged into my home practice, which involves all sorts of different methodologies other than just the yoga. But you can stay here in the breath practice, maybe keeping the focus at the heart center, finding that clarity and peace. Or if you'd like to, I find it really potent to put pen to paper. Just find a space in your paper and maybe you write the words "on hold" for the next hour, and just take a couple moments here to jot down any of the things, any of those areas of tightness, be they physical or in the breath or emotional or mental, anything that feels heavy. You're welcome to, at the end of the practice, read back on through this list and put all those things back onto your body and in your mind, or maybe you don't. But just taking a few moments here to not only think and breathe some of those things off of the body, but also take the time to write them out. It's a really powerful part of the practice, transitioning something from thought to physical. So go ahead and just take a moment, about a minute or so, just to jot down any of those things that are on hold for you for the next hour. And again, as you're jotting these down, if that's part of your practice, doing your best to just stay with the words of the things you're writing down and not invoke any of the emotion or the story that's coming along with those. And then once you're done with that, writing down that on hold list, you might have also just been thinking about it in your mind. Just come back to that space in the heart. And I just want you to bring all of your awareness, all of your breath into that space of the heart, and just take 3 deep, big breaths. Deep inhale in, feeling the space of the heart expand. Exhale out. Another deep inhale in. Exhale out. And then a deep inhale in. And exhale out. We're going to continue those deep breaths. You might want to hold the breath up at the top, brief breath retention, maybe up for a count of 4 before you release. And I just want you to give yourself the next couple moments to just flood your mind, kind of turning on that awareness between the breath and the physical body and the mind, and just flood your experience right now with everything that deserves to stay in your heart space. everything that's currently apart, everything that feels aligned there and clear and peaceful. Just looking for all of these things that deserve to stay in the heart space. Maybe as you're breathing around the space of the heart and you're noticing these people or these things or these experiences or these resources, right? You start to feel some of the physiology shift around you. Maybe a little bit of more softness through the shoulders. Maybe the breath gets longer. Maybe there's more grounding through the body, or maybe you're feeling it up through the top of the head, more lightness and lift and inspiration. And you can stay with the breath here. Again, if you're in that writing practice with me, go ahead and find another space on your paper. And maybe you do a list, or maybe you draw a heart, right? And inside the heart, just writing what deserves to stay, right? What's important? What makes you tick? What do you love? What lights you up? Just flood. I'm just trying to open up the gates here. And if you're past the big things, start to look for the little things. Right? Just staying with this inquiry. If you don't have pencil and paper, that's totally fine. You're just staying with the attention at the heart. Right. Once you're complete with that list, go ahead and come back. We're just going to bring the hands to the space of the heart. So you can take the right hand and stack the left hand over it. And just come back to the breath, noticing the simple exercise we just did of removing some things that might have been otherwise heavy and weighing down on the heart. Bringing attention to other things that light us up, right? And that deserve to stay. And we can't always, in every single moment, be Jedi enough to stop and pull out our list, or stop and close our eyes and run through the inquiry of this deserves to stay and this doesn't, right? But when we come into practice around taking the time to list and coming to take the time to be aware of what it is that's actually making up and taking up our heart space, we can get really intentional there, right? There's no magic found in only using a fraction of your heart space. It's part of a poem one of my favorite poets, Daniel Dobie, said, which I love, and we get to choose what comes into those spaces. And we get to choose what stays. You can go ahead and let the hands come down. You can move the paper and pencil off to the side. We're just going to come into child's pose. So you can move your blankets and your pillows and all that goodness off to the side for now. And the knees are going to come hip distance apart, maybe even as wide as the mat. Big toes come to touch. And just go ahead and sit back. We're going to stay high here to start, up onto the fingertips, and just rock side to side. Bring the right belly to the right thigh, and the left belly to the left thigh. Just kind of getting the side to side compression in the front of the hips, maybe even feeling that stretch into the side bodies. And you can pause here as you're moving side to side if that feels nice. And then go ahead and come on up to tabletop, letting the knees come back under the hips, toes tuck. Just take a few cat-cows. So again, a reminder, nobody can see you. Cat-cow can be really linear here, forward to back, dropping the belly and then arching up towards the ceiling, or you might want to get really curvy. And I find that sometimes when I'm teaching in a studio space, I have to really encourage people to kind of take these more organic movements. But no one can see you. So really here as you're coming into the beginning of the physical practice, thinking about where the breath wants to move into the body as you're taking these cat-cows. And then go ahead and come through neutral space here. We'll let the knees come back as wide as the mat, big toes touch. As you sit the hips back, come onto the outside edge of the right fingertips and glide the right fingertips forward and just get a nice stretch underneath the right armpit. The right ear comes down to the right bicep. Good. And then inhale, come back up. Right hand plants. Exhale, glide the left fingertips forward. Left ear comes down onto the left bicep as you sit the hips back. Inhale, come through center. One more time, gliding side to side. Exhale, sit it back, right arm reaches forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, left hand glides forward. Inhale, we're gonna come through center. Glide back onto the right side so the right fingertips reach forward. And then we're gonna take this left arm, turn the palm back, and the back of the hand might find the sacrum here, or you might wrap the hand all the way around to the inside of the right thigh or the top of the right thigh. And as you're here, maybe give a slight roll back of the left shoulder so the heart faces up. Close the eyes. And just come into awareness again of the heart space. So we're in this posture, especially with the bind, where the heart's a little bit more exposed. Rather than forcing the breath into the stretch, just see if you can really gently start to tune up the depth, the vitality of your inhales and the exhales. Kind of stretching the posture with the breath. And then we'll go ahead and release the bind. Keep the right ear on the right shoulder for now. Release the bind, just let the left fingertips come out to the side, get a little bit of stretch through the fingertips. Good, and then lift the gaze, turn the right palm down. This left arm is gonna glide underneath the right shoulder, come down onto the left cheek. Coming all the way into this twist. You can stay here, or you can take this bind with the right hand. So turning the back palm out, right palm onto the back of the sacrum, or wrapping it around to the inside of the left thigh. Go ahead and release the right arm, letting it extend back out straight in front of you. Then lift the gaze, left fingertips come up, scoop the heart forward, and grip the mat with the fingertips, drop back towards the hips as the heart extends forward. Then melt the heart, the neck, the head down. Then inhale, come back up, shift the hips up, hands come under the shoulders. And we'll come down onto the left side. So glide the left fingertips forward, shift the hips back. Lay the left ear onto the left bicep. Right arm reaches up and turns back. The hand can find the sacrum or can wrap around to the inside of the left thigh. And see where you can really relax. So soften through the neck, feel the weight of the head onto the arm. Feel the softness of the belly, so you don't really need to keep your core super strong here. See where you can soften. And then see where the breath of the inhale wants to create space and lift open through the heart. Good, release that bind, reaching the right arm out to the side just to stretch. And then turn the left palm down, slide the right arm underneath, come down onto the right shoulder, right cheek. And again, you can stay here or take this left arm up, turn it back, find that hand at the back of the sacrum, or take this half bind. And go ahead and release the left fingertips back long along the mat. Right fingertips come unwind, gaze lifts forward, grip the mat, scoop the heart forward, and then melt the heart, the neck, the head, and come down. We'll just bend at the elbows here, taking the hands to stack one on top of another, and the forehead's gonna come on top of the backs of the hands, and just rock it side to side. A nice massage for the front of the forehead. And then come on up to tabletop. Hands back underneath the shoulders. Move the knees back underneath the hips. Toes are tucked. Take a cat-cow here again, just to start to get a little bit more pronounced mobility through the spine. Okay. And then from here, find stillness. We're gonna take the left toes back onto the mat and turn the left foot down as you roll the left hip open. Right shoulder stacked over the right wrist, reach the left fingertips back, and big circle here. As you arc the left fingertips up towards the front of the mat, press down to the left outside edge of the foot and draw the straight side body up and in. So you're getting a big stretch here. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the left hand down towards the earth. Spin onto the left big toe mound. And then on the inhale, press down to the hand, sweep the right leg back up and high, three-legged down dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, lower the knees down towards the earth. And we'll move right into the other side. Inhale, sweep the right toes back, flatten the foot. Reach the right fingertips back towards the back of the mat. Big arch here, and as you're arching, you're drawing the left side body up and in. Pressing down to the outside edge of the right foot. Notice that the right shoulder is going to want to hug up by the ear here, so you can glide the shoulder down the back. Deep breath in. Exhale, square off towards the mat, spin onto the right big toe mound. Inhale, sweep the left leg back up and high. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, lower down to the knees. One more time each side with the breath. On an inhale, left foot back, sweep the left arm high. Exhale, left hand comes down, spin onto the left big toe mound. Inhale, sweep the right leg back up and high. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Slowly pressing the knees down towards the earth, belly buttons up and in. Inhale, right foot comes back, sweep the right arm around. Exhale, square it off, spin onto the right big toe mound. Inhale, sweep that left leg back up and high. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, lower the knees down towards the earth. Moving on, similar beginning, we'll take the left toes back, turn it down, sweep the left arm high. Nice, then spin the right heel back, come up onto the right fingertips here, get really strong through the core, and just float the arms up, reaching high. Wrap the pinky fingers towards the face, feel the shoulder blades glide down the back, and just take this over into a side bend. Maybe you're hovering, maybe the left hand comes down. Deep breath in, dropping the sit bones down, feeling this breath moving into the right space of the body. Good, then inhale, come all the way up through center. Exhale, keeping the core engaged, moving into the side bend. Again, right fingertips come down onto the earth. Press and lift the right side belly up and in. Good. Deep inhale in, then exhale. You're just gonna come to sit down as you glide this left leg out. Come to sit down onto the hips. Left hand comes to the inside of the foot, right arm comes up and over. Exhale. Deep side bend. Good, options to stay here, or maybe turn that palm out, bring it around to the space of the heart, and just give a gentle opening, like it's a press and a bring of your heart with you into this twist. The gaze might be up towards the ceiling. Good, staying there. Great, and then go ahead and release from here. If you are still inside with the right arm lifted, go ahead and bring it back up. Take the right foot and slide it out from you. So we're moving into a double log pose. You're gonna have the right shin coming out from the right ankle, and this left leg is gonna come and stack. The left ankle is gonna be on top of the right knee. So I'm a great example here of someone who's pretty inflexible in my hips since I had a kid. And why this is a really lovely restorative posture. So what I'm gonna do is take a pillow here underneath my knee, and then I'm gonna take a blanket and another pillow. So this is just a really lovely stacking and fold over onto myself. So the things you're wanting to look for as you're setting yourself into this posture are that the shins are parallel towards one another, the ankles are on top or maybe just slightly over the outsides of the knees, and the ankles are flexed a lot. And then you're just with your props filling the holes. So maybe finding that, closing that space between the bottom ankle and knee. And then you're taking the rest of this goodness up on top of the whole thing and just draping your body up and over. You can turn a cheek to the mat, close the eyes, and just soften the breath. And then go ahead from here, start to walk the hands back up, lengthening the spine. Just set all of this goodness off to the side for a moment. And then this left leg is on top. We're just gonna land the foot down. You're facing back towards the front of the mat, starting to turn the foot back to the front of the mat. Hands come towards the front and step the right foot back. Heel toe this left foot to the outside edge of the mat and turn the toes out. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, back knees lifted. I want you to press, feel the shoulder blades move apart, lift the hips, round the spine, and tuck the chin into the chest. And just hold here. Feeling that belly button, the whole front space of the body engaged, feeling that stretch and strength into the back side of the body as well. Take one more deep breath in, hold it. And then on an exhale, lower the knee, lower the belly, open up the heart, open up the chin. Good, and then nice big juicy shoulder circles here. Rocking either one side all the way around, or you can do half semicircles. And then land the right fingertips down into the earth, the left fingertips reach up, forward, up, back, and the elbow here bends in. Spread the fingertips wide, scoop the heart back. And inhale, reach it up. Exhale, draw that right elbow in towards the side body, reach the left fingertips over, get a nice stretch in the left side body. One more time, inhale, come on up, reach the fingertips up, and elbow back, big heart opener. Nice, inhale, reach it up, exhale it back. Good. Now from here, we're gonna go ahead and heel toe that left foot back to the midline on the mat. Walk up and over, and bend the right knee, flex through the left foot. That right tricep, the upper arm bone is pressing in to the top of the thigh, to the inside of the knee. Maybe you open up the left fingertips here. Deep breath in, then exhale, bring the left hand down. If it was raised, walk back around to the front of the mat. Spin onto the back toe, the right hand comes to the inside of the left foot, left arm was high. Nice. Exhale, bring the front foot. Inhale, sweep that left leg back and high. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, deep breath. Exhale, slide it out the mouth. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, lower the knee. Good. Inhale, drop the belly, move the heart forward for cow. Exhale, press the earth away, take the chin to the chest, around the spine, cat, and then find neutral. We'll move into the other side. So the right toes are gonna come back. Spin the foot down, sweep the fingertips towards the back of the mat, then press down through the foundation as you arch the right side ribs up towards the ceiling. Left heel comes back, come up onto the left fingertips here, get strong through your core, and then float up. Float, float, float down with pinky fingers towards the face. Glide the upper arm bones down, and then take it into your side bend. And then notice here, sometimes when we come into side bends, we feel like we have to keep the neck in alignment here. Maybe it just might feel nice to drop the ear towards the shoulder. Just take out some of that tension. You don't even have to be all the way extended through this top arm. You can just soften. No one cares. Just finding that relaxation. Inhale, come all the way back up through center. From here, you do want to engage through the core just to stay safe as you bring the left fingertips back down towards the earth. Then glide this left heel underneath, slide the right heel out and come to sit down. So the right leg is long, the left heel is tucked up and in. Right fingertips can come to the inside here as you scoot the left arm up. Exhale, side bend. And again, options to stay here. You can be really high. This is lovely. You can bend the elbow and press it into the inside of the thigh. That helps to rotate the heart open. Or maybe you want to turn the palm out in the way, take the hand to the heart, and really just encourage this space open. And if the hand is on the heart and you're encouraging that space open, close the eyes. Really drop into the breath there. And notice the experience of assisting your heart into an opening posture. If you have your hand on your heart, go ahead and reach it back up into the side bend. We'll all inhale, come back up through center, and set up for second set here. Left shin is going to come parallel to the front of the mat, flex through the ankle and the toes, right foot comes over. And you'll notice probably pretty quickly that each side of this posture is a very different experience. So it might have been easier hard on the other side than I would be experiencing the opposite. So don't think too much about it. Don't pause too long and judge. Just find your props. Fill the spaces. You'll eventually get into the same pose that you were on the other side. You can turn a cheek. As you're making your way into the posture and softening, make sure as you soften that you keep the integrity of the ankles flexing, maybe even the toes flexing, which is not just for looks, it's to protect the knee. So super important part here. The eyes aren't already, you might close them here. And just get the sensation of the breath massaging the body from the inside out. Here in this folded over posture, the back space of the heart is really exposed. You might feel the inhales pressing it up and opening, and the exhales kind of washing, cleansing from the inside, that back space of the heart. Go ahead and release from there. You can move all the props. The right leg is stacked on top. We'll just turn our hands back towards the front of the mat, and this right foot's going to step forward to the outside edge. Hands come underneath the shoulders, step the left foot back. So you're in this wide lunge, this is lizard lunge. Press down through the hands, lift the hips, draw the belly button up and in, knit the ribs up and in, tuck the chin so you're so engaged through the whole front space of the body. Just getting a little bit of a contraction here. Take one more deep breath in, and then on an exhale, lower the knee, lower the hips, open the belly, open the heart, lift the chin right into head rolls. Letting this just feel really nice and juicy. And then we'll take the left hand down to the earth, right fingertips sweep forward, up, and as you open to the back, draw the elbow down, cactus arms here. There's an elbow swooping forward, fingertips back, lift the heart. Good. Then reach the fingertips up. Exhale over to the diagonal, maybe bend that left elbow, get a nice stretch into your back. Good. Then one more time, inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bend it open. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bend. Nice. Then press to straight through this front leg. Bend through the left, spin onto the right heel. You can take this left tricep to the inside of the ankle, maybe opening up through the right fingertips. And then walking it back around to the front of the mat. Left hand comes to the inside of the right foot, peel the right arm open. Nice. Exhale, bring the front foot. Inhale, sweep the right leg back and high. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, rise up onto the toes. Exhale, lower the knees. Good. And go ahead and just sit back onto the heels. So knees might be together, hip distance apart. You're sitting onto the heels from here. We're just going to take the hands to interlace around the low back, pull the shoulders back, drop the hands down, open up the heart, lift the chin. And then bring the chin to parallel and take the clasped hands around to the right side body. From here, just drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. From here, go ahead and release. Bring the hands down. Wrap the arms around, grab for opposite shoulders, tuck the chin to the chest. Good. And then let the arms come down, take opposite interlace of the hands. If you can figure that out, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart, lift the chin. And then take the clasped hands around to the left side body, drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. And you're directing all of the breath here into the space of the neck without forcing it, right? So you're just using the weight of the head as it drops to the side without craning to get the stretch. Just let the breath kind of come up and meet that space of the neck. And go ahead and release from there. Undo the arms, take the opposite arm over. Good. Nice. And then just walk the hands forward and gently press back and up into down dog. Pedaling through the feet, left and right. Nice. From here, we're going to inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, step it forward towards the right hand and spin the back foot down. So the feet are hip distance apart here, right knee over right ankle. Drawing the right hip back. And we're going to bring the arms up high, warrior one. Just for a moment, then exhale, find eagle arms. So left arm over right. Maybe this is too much for the shoulders. If so, you can just grab hands to shoulders. Otherwise, you can take the full eagle wrap here, drawing the right thigh bone back. And then lift up through the pelvic floor, lift through the spine, lift the heart up through the upper arm bones. And then maybe lift the elbows and the fingertips a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. One more deep breath in. Draw the right hip back and then keep the heart moving forward as you bring the belly down towards the thighs. Maybe you rest the belly down onto the thighs. Maybe you move the right shoulder to the inside of the thigh, all the way into humble. Relax the top of the head, relax the neck. Then press down through the feet. Send the heart forward. So to come up rather than cranking into the low back, scoop the heart forward, press through the feet, engage the core, then press down to float the heart all the way back up. Peel the arms back and wide, big cactus arms, open up the heart in the chest. Then exhale, hands come to the inside of the front foot and turn both toes to face the left side of the mat. So feet are wide. Outside edges of the feet are pressing apart. Hands underneath the shoulders. You can stay here or on an exhale, just fold forward. You can grab your opposite biceps. If you have a block or blankets or anything that you can stack here underneath you, sometimes this just feels really nice to take the weight of the head in and then let the arms cross in front and really relax through the shoulders. And as you're here in Prasarita Padottanasana, noticing that the breath is really running up and down the spine. So it's massaging the length of the spine on the inhale, and the exhale is really feeling the weight of the head drop down into the earth. then we'll go ahead and walk the hands back up under the shoulders from here. We're gonna take this right leg and shoot it behind the left. I'm gonna show you, you're gonna move it down and come onto the right hip. So this right leg is straight, the left leg is bent up and over. The right hand is the base here. And just bring the left hand out to the side. And again, you can drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Taking a deep breath in. And then grab your blanket or your pillow or maybe all the things. You're just gonna have to see here what you'd like to do. And I like to bring one of those rolled things here under my side belly and start to walk out, glide my right arm along the earth. So you can stay here with the right ear onto the right shoulder. You might also want to grab a pillow there. And then once you kind of found that space, we're just going to close the eyes and stay. And then we're going to start to begin a slow rotation onto our belly. But first, just stay here for left foot kickstanding. Taking a deep breath in. On an exhale, go ahead and just start to bring that left knee down towards the earth. So you're rocking a little bit more onto the belly. And then options to stay here if you'd like. Continue to roll onto the belly as the left knee is going to glide out and away. So you're coming into a half frog. You can keep this blanket underneath the belly if you want. You can just get rid of it entirely. You might also want to readjust the arms here. And just take a scan from the top of the head all the way down the body. Feeling the weight of the cheek into the pillow. The weight of the chest and the belly. You can feel the belly and the heart rising and pressing into the pillow or the mat as you're breathing. Feeling that softness extend all the way down through the soles of the feet. And from here, go ahead and just start to press up through the hands. You can scooch the pillows and the blankets out to the side. And then we're going to bring the belly back down onto the earth. This right arm is going to come straight out from the shoulder. The right cheek comes down onto the earth. The left fingertips come out to the side. And just take this left leg up and behind, kickstanding it onto the earth. And so for some of us, you might feel this stretch here into the left hip flexor. For others of us, this might be more about the right finger or the right front of the shoulder. You can just kind of see, notice what's showing up for you in the posture and then adjust accordingly. Good, and then go ahead and just come down onto your bellies. So unwinding, coming down onto the bellies. Take the hands to stack here, bend the knees, drop the forehead to the front of the hands, and just windshield weight for the legs side to side. Good. We'll extend the legs back long, take the hands under the shoulders. Your choice, you can press up through a plank into a down dog, or maybe it's just a tabletop and child's. And then we'll meet back up in down dog. Taking your time to get there, moving really slowly and mindfully.
Maybe pedaling through the feet as you find your way back in down dog. Good. And then on an inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, step it forward towards the left hand, spin the right foot down. So the feet are hip distance apart here, left knee over left ankle. Sweep the fingertips forward and up as you press through the feet. And then right arm over left for eagle arms. Crossing at the elbows, maybe taking that wrist cross as well. An option here to always just hug the body and just move your eagle. Press through the feet, lift through the belly, lift through the heart. Lift the heart between the upper arm bones, and then maybe scoop the triceps and the fingertips up. Take a deep breath in, draw the left thigh back, and send the heart forward. Bring all the way down, maybe the belly lands onto the thighs, maybe it moves to the inside, the left shoulder comes down. If you're all the way in humble, really relax the neck and the head, maybe even give it a nice shake there. And then press through the feet, lift through the pelvic floor, send the heart forward first. Engage the belly and bring the torso all the way up. Feel the elbows wide and open, lift the heart. Exhale, hands straighten the inside of the foot. And we're spinning around to Prasarita Padottanasana. Standing wide-legged forward fold. Feet are wider than hip distance apart. Pressing through the outside edges of the feet. Hands under the shoulders to start, and then melt the heart, the neck, the head, coming down. Again, if you use props on the other side, and that felt really lovely to bring the earth up to you, you can go ahead and gather those back up. If you have props, notice if they're sending the weight back into the heels. Maybe scoot them a little bit more forward because you want the weight of this posture to be into the big toe mounds for the most part, a slight lift possible in the heels. Good. Go ahead and scoot those off to the side. Take the hands back under the shoulders. We're sending this left leg under the right, coming down onto the left hip. Good. Left hand is here under the shoulder. You can take the right hand to the ankle or back of the right arm to the knee. Pointer and thumb may come together. Drop the ear towards the shoulder. And then gathering that roll for the side belly. Sliding it here under the left hip. This will come into the space of the left side body. Rolling yourself down. Maybe just extending the ear down onto the bicep, or maybe bringing this blanket or a pillow here as well, just to make it a little bit more comfortable. Close the eyes. Good. And then starting to roll, bringing that right knee down towards the earth to start, maybe rocking a little bit forward with that right hip. So the weight is starting to come a little bit more towards the belly, maybe about halfway. And then from there, rolling all the way onto the belly, gliding this right knee out. So you're coming into a half frog. Weight is fully onto the belly. Your options here to keep all of these props underneath you if that feels nice, or just get rid of them if it feels like there's too much bulk underneath the body. For some of us, that compression might feel nice, but for others, it might feel a little bit too jarring. Good. And then from here, go ahead and just start to extend the hands up onto the earth. Move the props out of the way. This left arm's gonna come out from the side body. Right fingertips come up and extend this right leg back, up and around. Kick standing onto the big toe mat back here. And then once you find this reach, notice oftentimes if we're coming into this twist, we're gonna keep a lot of tension here in the neck and the head and the shoulders. Maybe even pick the head up, relay it back down onto the earth. Just see if you can take those scans down through the body to relax, freeing up any of that energy that you might be unnecessarily holding in the body. And then go ahead from here, roll onto the belly, bend the knees. Thank you. And windshield wiper the legs side to side. Nice. So we're just gonna send the legs long, take the hands under the shoulders, press up, shift the hips back. Coming into tabletop here for just a moment, tuck the toes, take a couple clean breaths. So anytime you're doing a lot of spinal mobility before you take it into a forward fold, you just want to take a couple breaths here to let the spine collect itself. Good, and then let the knees come wide. Go ahead and sit it back into child's. And then we'll bring the hands under the shoulders, come up to tabletop, cross the ankles, and we're coming down onto our backs. Grab up all the things. So your pillows, your blanket, all of that goodies. And we're gonna set up for a restorative bridge. So as you're coming down onto your backs, you might need a stack that includes, depending on what you have, it might be all the things. The feet are gonna be hip distance apart, somewhat close in towards the sit bones. Press down through the soles of the feet and glide things underneath your hips. So you might just start with one and see how that feels. I like to have, if I'm not using blocks, I like to have at least a blanket and a pillow or maybe a couple pillows. You're just gonna get the hips up higher than the heart. And the arms will come down and out to the sides, the palms will face up, the shoulders roll back. Take a deep inhale in, and then exhale it out. And so I know for many of us, we're all, for the most part, I think of the people on this call, like to be in motion. We appreciate motion. And so kudos, first of all, for even showing up to a slow flow class and one that's more restorative. But there's so much benefit to be had in the slowing down. Right, especially in these restorative inversions, where sometimes in a vinyasa class we're really efforting into them, like shoulder stand or active bridge. There's a lot of efforting. When we can slow our body down and come into these restorative postures, really give ourselves the opportunity to unwind, to restore, to take a break, and to nourish ourselves. Right? So I think the flip side of being a doer is that while it feels good to do, it doesn't necessarily feel good to not do, which means we oftentimes miss the opportunity to take a break and to store ourselves back up, to check in and ask the questions about what we might be needing. When we miss the opportunity to ask those questions, we really are missing out on the opportunity to express ourselves. It comes full circle back to all of that, what's in your heart, how are we moving that? We're not restored, we're not healthy, we're not taking the time to be still from time to time. As doers, a lot of things make their way into our heart space that don't necessarily need to be there. Honoring these moments of stillness, even if they're brief. It's just a moment to check in. Options just to stay here if you'd like. You can continue to progress this posture just by bringing the knees in towards the chest. You might hang out here for a moment. This can feel really nice on the low back. And then extend the legs up towards the ceiling. The arms can stay down out to the sides, or you might take them up a little bit higher. Notice as you're doing this, if you extend the legs up towards the ceiling and you take this into the hip flexors, just take a soft bend. Notice how soft you can get through the feet, maybe even twiddle through the toes a little bit. After you've been here for several rounds of breath, you might start to notice that tingling perhaps in the space of the feet or the ankles, maybe even tingling into the weight of the arms, the front space of the palms. It's the body restoring itself. Right? One of the most beautiful things we can do for our body, in addition to the restorative practice, is to put it into inversions from time to time. Helps us recalibrate, it helps us come back to center, brings mental clarity, it's good for blood flow, it's amazing for our immune system. It just helps to reverse sometimes, to intentionally put yourself on your head. Here with legs extending, maybe just start to circle through the feet. If you're still in bridge, go ahead and just stay there. Good. And then we'll hug the knees into the chest. And a nice compression again for the front of the organs, the belly, the hip flexors. And then bringing the soles of the feet down to the earth. Just slide all of this out to the sides. Good. And for a moment, hook the thumbs, reach the fingertips up behind you. Just take a big, long body stretch. Nice, and exhale, soften, let the legs come wide, let the arms come wide, rock the head side to side. And then we'll take one more just like that. Legs together, flex the soles of the feet towards the front of your mat. Hook the thumbs, reach back up and over, big, long body stretch. And then exhale, starfish it out. Rock the head side to side. And then options to stay here or take your blanket rolled up or a pillow. You can glide the blanket under the backs of the thighs or the knees. You can take a pillow here to the front space of the hips and just bring your hands to the pillow. It's a really nice, soft, gentle grounding and compression for the front of the body. You can also take the pillow to the back space, just like a pillow, and soften. And as you're coming into Shavasana tonight, I want you just to let the breath guide you in. So each inhale restores the body, and then each exhale just senses a layer deeper. And I want you to see if you can eventually tiptoe these breaths to the space of the heart, like the heart was home base. Options to stay here in Shavasana. We're going to continue to rest, but if you'd like, you can just rock onto the side body and take that blanket in between the thighs, keeping this pillow here underneath the head as you rock into more of a fetal position. Whatever position you're in, see if you can sense the breath almost like embers in a fire. That visual fire is so potent for so many of us because we've all been around campfires. We've all blown on them to kick that red and orange color, right? To watch the flames move. And then watched as they got more clear and more concentrated, but still potent and present. And as you're in these final moments of resting posture, just noticing that elemental strength in you. And seeing if you can let the heart for these last several moments of class be the center of those embers where they all collect. A poem I've been sitting with lately called The Universe Within goes, "You are the breath, the river, the ember, and the root. Let me remind you, dear one, of your elemental power. You are connected to the very source of all that surrounds you." How lovely to think that with every inhale and rebirth and breath into those embers, our fire expands, of course, up to our tissues and moves us through the world. But there's also this energy of who we are and what we care about and what we move in the world that extends past our physical being. It touches the people we love. It influences the environment around us. It spreads like wildfire in the best of ways. All from the space of your heart. If you're still on your back, you can just gently roll onto your side. I'll take a moment here. And then gently coming on up to seated, using your hands to support you, keeping the eyes closed. Finding an easy seat. We'll just bring the hands to heart center. That can be palms pressing, it can be hand to heart, other hand stacking over. Take a moment here to let the gaze reflect down internally towards the space of the heart. And before we end our class today, we'll take a moment just to acknowledge everything that conspired to get us here tonight. The space you held in the calendar, technology, that's the first time I've ever acknowledged that in yoga class, internet, the resources, your home, any of these things, the big things, and then look for the subtle things. Treating all of this as sacred, all of these things that conspired for you. And then we'll bring the thumbs up to the third eye center, lifting the chin slightly, an acknowledgement of this space to practice together, this community from multiple states that gathered tonight, for the practice itself and for all the lessons and grace and strength and rest it may have given us so that we can move forward into our weeks. For all of this, we'll seal our practice folding forward and sending these gifts out into the world where they're needed. Thanks so much, you guys. Namaste. So appreciate you all showing up tonight. And I hope that you just sleep like babies. I'm going to unmute you all so I can say goodnight.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, you guys are so welcome. I so appreciate you showing up. It feels like a hug, and I hope that you all are doing all right. And if you have any questions, mostly those show up in the vinyasa classes, not as much in restorative because everybody's just juicy. But if you have questions, let me know. And then I've also got 3 vinyasa classes coming up this week at various times that'll be quite a bit more active. So if you're wanting some of that, look forward to seeing you, and I'll send out links for those as well. So appreciate you gals.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
Bye.